Good morning and happy Tuesday, 10 at 10. I am your host, Richard Charpentier, and every Tuesday we gather to answer questions that are being sent to Bakerpedia from the bakers and answered by a baker. I am Richard Charpentier, CMB, Certified Master Baker, bakery scientist with over 36 years of experience working in different bakeries, from small bakeries to commercial bakeries. And as you can see, look, I love baking. So, you gotta carry it. So let's get started. So the first question we received is from somebody asking, can they use mono and diglyceride in sweet buns as a crumb softener, and in how much quantity? So, crumb softeners, mono and di, they help for several things. They can help with the increased bread volume. They create a softer crumb, as you said in your question. They extend textural shelf life on cakes and breads. And when used in cakes where aeration is needed, whipping, and they improve for aeration mechanism. They also help to stabilize the oil in water dispersion, retention capacity of bread flour, and strengthen the gluten network by interacting with wheat protein. So they perform different functionalities. And the fact is, a lot of also referred to as surfactants. They come in different forms. They come in powdered form, they come in plastic form, and hydrated form. So the plastic form is almost like a margarine, like a fat, and they all vary in terms of recommended usage level from the different vendors. And they also vary from the hydrolipophilic balance. They have different ranges based on the manufacturers you're getting it from. So I recommend the best. I can't recommend the level not knowing the formulation you're using, but it varies. It varies because, again, this is the mono and di are considered grass ingredients. There's no upper or minimum limit to use it. And what I say for in your case is go to you manufacturer of the mono and di, what they recommend for the product, and start there, and then do your research and development, your product development, to see, okay, when I put that amount, I always say in product development, if you have someone says, okay, 1/4% based on baker's percent, well, try what it is at double it at 0.5%, a small test, and just see, okay, what happens to my product then? Because that's what it is. Everybody's asking for that one number that works for, all across. And baking, it doesn't work like that. There's no one product, works at a one level everywhere. Similar to other things in life, it can be applied everywhere across. It's recommendations, but you have to be the judge of what you think your product will be best and at what level would it be best. So, but there was a good question. So moving on to the next question, we have somebody asking us about specific gravity for cakes. Hello, is the specific of my pound cake is 0.87. Is that all right? I have milk in my recipe, so that probably contributed to a denser cake. So first of all, one thing is I would refer you to the specific gravity page that was created on Bakerpedia by Dr. Lynn Carson. And there's a lot of fantastic information. Please go check it out. But just to give you a quick background on specific gravity, for those who do not know, specific gravity is the measurement of a volume. When you use a cup, you take a cup, you fill it up to the top, and whatever the weight that is being read, of course, you tear the container, and the weight of the water that is there is basically your standard weight. So that means it's one. It would be considered one. So now if you do the same thing and you make a chocolate cake batter, muffin batter, whatever batter, and you're trying to measure the volume, now you level it to the top, make sure it's scraped and it's teared again. And whatever that volume there now compared to the water is your specific gravity. And that's why, 0.87 is in reference to the amount of the volume compared to water, and in the same container. So, for example, if you do angel fruit cake is much lighter, meaning it's more aerated, contains more air, and usually people will write at 0.6. See, and each cake requires a certain specific gravity to get the proper texture, and that's why, the example I just given you is, the angel food cake is much lighter in texture because it's egg white, and therefore you get more air and therefore lighter, more spongy. The sponge cake, as the name entails, it's lighter cake overall. So, but please go to the page specifically referring specific gravity of cakes and how to best understand and use them. And that was the last question, but also, I basically talk about the product development and how to do product development. The key is there's a lot of information, but once you get the information, I mentioned earlier, there's no straight answer to, how to solve a problem. I've been to a lot of bakeries. I've been to travel to different countries in the world, and baking is always the same principle. You use simple ingredients: flour, water, salt, yeast, and sometimes no yeast. And if you make cakes, you have your sugar, you have your eggs, you have your fat, and everybody's trying to make a cake. Everybody's dealing with different issues, but the problems are always the same, but they differ based on, it starts with what ingredients you're using, where do they come from? It's super important to understand where your ingredients are coming from. And next is, how do you process your ingredients? How do you do it? And lastly is, what's your intended shelf life? And then that's when you come in place to be like, okay, what do I need to add to my formula, to my recipe, in order to prolong the shelf life? Or what do I need to do to change the bite? Or what do I need to do to, reduce the staling in my products? So there's a lot of things, even after 36 years of doing that, I'm still learning a lot about, different things and how things can interact. So there's a lot of this small interaction. And I forgot, and the water you're using in your bakery can also be a big contributing factor. So, but anyhow, so thank you very much for following Tuesday 10 at 10. Thank you for sending your questions, and happy Tuesday, and happy baking. Take care. Bye.